Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is so unbelievable that it feels like something out of fiction, yet every word is true. This is the account of a man who faced not just one of the deadliest events in human history, but two, and lived to tell the tale. His name was Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a Japanese naval engineer who survived both the Hiroshima and Nagasaki atomic bombings during World War II. His journey of survival is one of the most extraordinary examples of human resilience, fate, and the will to live ever recorded. In August of 1945, the war in the Pacific was nearing its final days. Japan was under immense pressure, both militarily and economically, and the United States was preparing to force a surrender using a devastating new weapon, the atomic bomb. On August 6, 1945, Yamaguchi was in Hiroshima on a business trip. He had been working for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, helping design oil tankers. That morning, he was getting ready to return home to Nagasaki. As he made his way to the shipyard to say goodbye to colleagues, the skies above Hiroshima were pierced by the roar of a B-29 bomber named Enola Gay. At exactly 8:15 a.m., the bomber dropped the world's first atomic bomb used in warfare, codenamed Little Boy. The bomb exploded approximately 600 meters above the ground with a blinding flash that turned the morning sky white. Yamaguchi was just 3 kilometers from ground zero. The blast knocked him off his feet and sent him flying into a nearby ditch. His body was badly burned, especially on his upper torso and face. He lost hearing in one ear and his vision was blurred from the intense light. Despite his injuries, Yamaguchi managed to crawl to shelter and survive the initial blast. The next day, Hiroshima was a hellscape. The once thriving city had been flattened, turned into a field of smoldering ruins. Tens of thousands had died instantly, while many others would perish from burns and radiation sickness in the following days. Yamaguchi, injured and traumatized, spent the night in a shelter. On August 8, with great difficulty, he made his way to the train station and boarded one of the very few trains still operational, heading back to Nagasaki. What he didn't know was that fate had a cruel second test waiting for him. When he arrived in Nagasaki on August 9, Yamaguchi's burns were raw, his body weak, and his mind shaken. He reported to work and met with his supervisor to explain what had happened in Hiroshima. His boss didn't believe him, dismissing the idea of a single bomb destroying an entire city as nonsense. But just as he was retelling the horror, a second B-29 bomber, Boxcar, dropped another atomic bomb, this one codenamed Fat Man, over Nagasaki. The explosion was even more powerful than the first, although the hilly terrain reduced its overall destruction. Once again, Yamaguchi was within 3 kilometers of ground zero. And once again, he survived. He had been inside a reinforced office building at the time of the second blast. The structure absorbed much of the shockwave, protecting him from the worst of the explosion. Windows shattered, ceilings collapsed, and debris flew in every direction, but somehow, Yamaguchi survived again. His bandages were blown off, and his wounds reopened, but his life was miraculously spared a second time in 3 days. The irony and tragedy of his story are difficult to grasp. In a country of millions, the chance of being in both cities at the exact moment of 2 atomic bombings is astronomical. Yet Yamaguchi endured it, not by choice, but by fate. Over the following days and weeks, he suffered from severe radiation sickness. His hair fell out, he vomited blood, and his body weakened. Still, he lived. His wife and infant son also survived, although his wife was reportedly searching for burn ointment when the Nagasaki bomb fell, exposing her to radiation as well. After the war, Yamaguchi lived a long life, eventually reaching the age of 93. His story remained mostly unknown to the outside world until much later, when it was officially recognized by the Japanese government in 2009. While other people may have survived both bombings, Tsutomu Yamaguchi is the only person ever officially acknowledged by the government of Japan as having survived both Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He became a vocal advocate against nuclear weapons, often using his experience to highlight the catastrophic consequences of atomic warfare. He argued not just from a historical perspective, but from deep personal trauma, insisting that no country should ever have to endure what he had seen and lived through. What makes his story so powerful isn't just the rarity of the experience, it's the message it carries. Yamaguchi didn't turn bitter or seek revenge. He became a voice of peace, warning the world of the terrifying power of nuclear weapons and advocating for their complete abolition. He once said, "The reason that I hate the atomic bomb is because of what it does to the dignity of human beings." These words carried the weight of someone who had seen firsthand the collapse of cities, the destruction of families, and the suffering of innocent people. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't in combat. He was simply a man doing his job, caught between history's most violent moments. In the years that followed, Yamaguchi's health was plagued by the long-term effects of radiation. He lost his hearing in one ear and had multiple illnesses throughout his life. His son, born just months before the bombings, would later die of cancer, believed to be linked to radiation exposure. The damage wasn't just physical, it was generational. Despite this, Yamaguchi showed extraordinary courage, speaking at United Nations events and appearing in documentaries, offering testimony that reminded the world of its past mistakes. His life stands as a symbol of survival, but also as a warning. Tsutomu Yamaguchi didn't just survive 2 atomic bombs, he lived through humanity's darkest hours and chose to fight for a future where such weapons would never be used again. His story reminds us that behind every statistic in war, there is a human being with a family, a job, a life, and a voice. His voice was one of reason, peace, and warning, and it must never be forgotten.